This is WAEC June 2023 General Mathematics Paper 2, and we are answering question number 9. And the question says you have the table showing the heights of teak trees harvested by a farmer. This is the table. You have 4 number of trees with this height 3. You have 6 number of trees with height 4, 4 number of trees with height 5, and so on. So question asked here is number A, you are asked to find the median height, and question number B, you are asked to calculate correct to 1 decimal place Roman 1 the mean and Roman 2 the standard deviation. So let's attempt to answer this very question together. So solution to this very problem, what you do first is to copy the table, this time around in a vertical format, just like this. This is easier to work with. So you now use X to represent this height, the data that we have collected, and we use the F to represent the number of trees there. F simply means the frequency. So I copied this exactly, but in a vertical format. So 3, the frequency is 4, height 4, the frequency is 6, and so on. So starting with the very first question, that is question number A, asked to find the median height. The median height will now be the height of that very tree that will now be in the middle position. If these trees are arranged in order of increasing height, which is of course yes in the table. So let me just get how many trees are there altogether that will enable me to know the position that will now be in the middle. Adding 4 plus 6 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 2, that gives answer 27. So this will now be the total number of trees there that we have collected their height. If they were 27, then the tree that will now be in the middle position would now be tree number 14. And from this frequency, I can now determine which tree that will now be number 14, what will now be its height. So I have 4 trees that were 3 meters each. I have six trees that were 4 meters each. So if I now count them all from those that are 3 to those that are 4, I have 10 of them. If I move down those with 5 meters each, there are 4 in a number. So I have 10 already. So adding these trees that are 5 meters each, I have 14 of them. So which means number 14, its height is now going to be 5 meters. So therefore, 5 meters is now going to be my median height. Question A has now been answered. I'll move to question number B. Question number B, we have 2 questions there to answer, starting with the mean. The mean is given by the formula summation fx divided by summation f. So I will now come to my table. I have to have a column for this fx. For this fx, I have already summation f. So let me just have a column for fx. Fx means each f times it is corresponding x. So 4 times 3, that gives 12. 6 times 4, that gives answer 24. I'll continue like that. So I'm going to have 20, 30, 42, and 16. So I'm going to add this fx. That will now be what I'm going to substitute in this formula at the numerator level. So adding this fx 12 plus 24 plus 20 plus 30 plus 42 plus 16, if you did correctly, this is what you're going to have, 144. So I can now substitute in this very formula to find the mean. So I'm going to have mean to be equals to 144 divided by 27. 27 is summation f, which I have already here. So dividing 144 by 27 correctly, you now have 5.333 meters. But the question asked to give our answer correct to 1 decimal place. So this answer will now be rounded to 1 place of decimal. If that is done correctly, you have 5.3 meters. This is now the mean. So I move to Roman 2, that we're asked to find the standard deviation. The standard deviation is given by the formula root of summation fd square divided by summation f. This is the formula we use to find the standard deviation for ungrouped data. Looking at this formula, I must have d, I must have d square, and I must have a column for fd square. So let me just get it here. So I'm going to have a column for d, then use the d to find the d square, and use the d square together with the corresponding f to populate this fd square. So let me start with the d. D simply means the deviation. how each and every data differ from the mean which we have just obtained here, 5.3. So I'm going to take this x value minus this mean. That will give me the first deviation there. So 3 minus 5.3, that will give result minus 2.3. And the next x is 4 minus the mean, 5.3. That will give answer here minus 1.3. The next is 5 minus this mean. That will give answer minus 0.3. And the next is 6 minus this mean will give 0.7. Next 7 minus 5.3, you have 1.7. And the next is 8 minus 5.3. That will give answer 2.7. So next is to get what is d square. So I'll take each and every d here and find it is square. So minus 2.3 square, that will give answer 5.29. Minus 1.3 square, that will give answer 1.69. And I'll continue like that. 0.3 square, that will give answer 0.09. 0.7 square, 0.49. 1.7 square, 2.89. 2.7 square, 7.29. So next is to get the f d square. This is your d square and this is your f. So you now take each f and multiply it by its corresponding d square. So 4 times 5.29, that will give result 21.16. Next is 6 times 1.69, that will give result 10.14. So I'll continue like that. Each f term is this corresponding d square. If you did correctly, you have 0.36, 2.45, 17.34, and 14.58. This will now be the FD square. It is this that I'm going to add together. It will give me what I'm going to have here is as my numerator. So adding 21.16, 10.14 up to this 14.58 correctly give result 66.03. Then I can now substitute in my formula for standard deviation. It is now going to be root of 66.03. That is your summation f d square, which you have here, divided by summation f, which is 27, which you have already. So dividing 66.03 by 27 correctly give result 2.44556. You now take square root of this. If you did correctly, you now have 1.5638. But the question asks us to write this standard deviation correct to one decimal place. So we have to round this number to one place of decimal. So one place of decimal rounded will now give a result to 1.6. So this is now going to be the standard deviation of this height of the trees. So let me just share with you how this very question is now marked during the marking of this very paper. So the very first marker is the bonus 1 mark for getting the total number of trees as 27. You have this bonus 1 mark. The next marker is attempting to get this median. Attempting to get this very median, that is finding the middle tree and locating the height of that middle tree. You have this method 1 mark. And when you now have your median as 5 meters exactly, you have this accuracy 1 mark. So the next mark is for getting the mean. But before this substitution, where you now have fx, that is finding the product of each x by its corresponding f, that gives you this method 1 mark. And if all these fx all are correct, 12, 24, 20, 30, 42, if all are correct, you have this accuracy 1 mark. So when you now substitute in the formula, that is your summation f and your summation fx correctly, you have this method 1 mark. And when you now have the mean as 5.3 rounded to one place of decimal, you have this accuracy 1 mark. So next mark is for the standard deviation. Before this substitution, attempting to find f d square. F d square, that is, you are now multiplying each d square by its corresponding f. If that is now done, you have this method 1 mark. And if all the entries are correct, you have this accuracy 1 mark. And summing this FD square exactly to get 66.03, you have this accuracy 1 mark. And substituting in the formula your summation FD square and your summation F correctly in the formula for standard deviation, you have this method 1 mark. And when you now have the value of standard deviation exactly 1.6 accurately, you have this accuracy 1 mark. So in total, this very question has 12 good marks.